This is my spoiler review for Deadpool and Wolverine. I'll be going in depth with everything I thought of the movie in spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie yet, I'll go watch the movie first. You do not want to get spoiled. If you have not seen the movie yet and somehow have not gotten spoiled, I advise you to get off the internet immediately until you have seen this movie. But without further ado, let's begin the spoiler review. And basically, in this review, I'm just going to go in depth with everything I wasn't able to talk about in my normal review, and talk about some cameos and stuff like that. So I'm just going to start off by going in depth with my problems I had with the movie that I wasn't really able to go super in depth into for my normal review. So one problem I had with the movie is that I felt like how Wade and Vanessa broke up, I feel like it wasn't talked about. We just knew they broke up, but we didn't know the exact reason why, because at the end of Deadpool 2, they were about to have a kid. What happened there? Because it really never specified exactly when did they break up. Was it exactly that moment right before she died? Like, what exactly happened? We don't know. It was never really explained. So I wish the movie spent more time on why did Vanessa and Wade break up? And what happened exactly after Deadpool 2. Now, my main problem with the movie, though, was the runtime. Now, a lot of people I've seen online, they don't have this complaint. Instead they say the story's messy. But for me, I felt like the runtime was too fast once you were in the TVA. Because they started introducing like this anchor point where a certain character dies in your world, that entire timeline starts to fade away. And I felt like I was gonna miss something when they were explaining that, because they're explaining it too fast. We don't have time to actually sit down and take time and explain what is happening. We just brush through it all just to get to the void. And once we're even in the void in the first place, I still feel like the story's rushed. Not as badly, but it just feels like we're going from plot point to plot point to plot point, without really any breaks in between there. So I just wish the movie was just a little bit longer to really sit at the TVA for a little bit and make the movie not like rushed by. From that point though, this is where I'm going to dive into like basically everything else. I talked about my problems with the movie, so let's just talk about everything else with the movie. Now the cameos. We had a lot of cameos in this movie. We had Happy Hogan, Henry Cavill, different versions of Hugh Jackman, Chris Evans, Blade, Elektra, Gambit, X-23, Deadpool variants. We had a lot of cameos. And if I were to pick a favorite cameo in this movie, I like the way they portrayed Chris Evans. They have a joke throughout the entire movie that Deadpool is the reason why basically the Human Torch died. Even though we find on the post-credit scene, he did say all those things. I like the recurring joke they had with Deadpool getting Chris Evans killed. But also just the way they introduce Chris Evans' character as the Human Torch. They make us think it's Captain America, but it's actually the Human Torch. I kind of knew it was the Human Torch because this movie's a tribute to 20th Century Fox movies, so why would it be Captain America? I kind of knew it was Chris Evans, but the moment he said Flame On, I still found it hilarious, and so did my theater. As for Elektra as the cameo, we all kind of knew that from all the articles coming out. Blade, there was a lot of speculation around it because I know Wesley Snipes did post something on his Twitter because there was a rumor saying he was in the movie, so he responded like, what? I'm not in it. So just the way it sounded made him sound like it's in the movie. And I feel like Gambit was just an obvious thing because the drama of the movie getting canceled, stuff like that. I feel like that's just an obvious thing, and then that he's in the movie. And then X-23 is like, duh, why not? And they also spoiled X-23 in the final trailer too. But mainly with that final trailer, what it spoiled for me was the emotional beat of the movie. Because I feel like that trailer showed us a lot of the emotional beat of the movie. I feel like that when I saw all of that was in the trailer on screen in the movie theater, it didn't hit the same. Which is why I didn't really connect to that emotional beat, because I saw it all in the trailer. Everything with Wolverine, I didn't really feel for that emotional core because it was all set up in that trailer that I saw. Yeah, but with all the cameos, I feel like they were used in a great way, that they didn't play off as cameos, but as a part of the movie. And getting the fight for one last time to save a timeline. Deadpool and Wolverine's timeline. This is the part where we get that portal scene that everyone, when they first saw the trailer, they freaked out over, wondering where it could be, thinking they blurred it out. But in reality, it wasn't even blurred out. That's just how it looked in the movie. I feel like the fans, I'm part of this too, but I feel like the fans can overhype a lot of movies because they set their expectations to a certain degree that they just think that these crazy things are going to happen. That's what happened with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I'm sure some people were disappointed with Deadpool and Wolverine too. But like scenes like the portal scene, I feel like that fans were expecting Endgame to come out of that portal. But I kind of liked what they did with all the Deadpool variants being fought like that, with Hugh Cow finally coming on, and just watching him chop through all these Deadpool variants. Now what confuses me, Kevin Feige himself said that this movie is important to the MCU. It's going to change the MCU and set up Secret Wars. If Infinity War is an 8 out of 10, and Endgame's a 9 out of 10 of how important it is to the MCU, Deadpool and Wolverine's an 8 out of 10. He said that himself. And this movie is not that. This movie, the only important thing I would say that this movie came across that's important to the MCU is that Deadpool and Wolverine might have a role in the future, and they introduced anchor points, even though I'm sure they'll introduce that again. Those are the only things that I feel like are actually important in this movie. So I have no idea what Kevin Feige was talking about. Maybe he knows something we don't, but I know San Diego Comic-Con's Hall H is tomorrow, so maybe something could be revealed, but 8 out of 10 importance? I don't really think so. Now for me, I really enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine. I can't wait to rewatch it next week and catch all the stuff I missed the first time around and just experience the whole movie again with a whole new crowd. Even though I'm sure my crowd would have seen the movie by that point, I know the person I'm going with has not seen it at that point. And I'm just excited to check this movie out again because it was a lot of fun and doesn't feel like an MCU movie. Even though it's moving these characters into the MCU, I just feel like since the movie's like in a new timeline and is like its own thing, it doesn't feel like an MCU movie. It feeling a lot more contained, is not setting up something big in the future. Anyways, that was my spoiler review on Deadpool and Wolverine. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, maybe these ones on the side will interest you too. Like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Goodbye.